try to act it out afterwards. Some of you have seen that. So if you're interested in acting, this is your chance. We're near Hollywood, so this is your chance. Maybe someone will see your acting skills tonight and they will say, oh, this is a star in the making. Okay, so now Alexandra's going to take some time.
Okay. I'm going to read some of it to you, and you'll be getting this paper after, so you can look
Not
at
everyone will.
it yourself. What?
I said not everyone will.
Oh, not everyone will. Well,
I don't have enough.
Okay. You can look it up in the Bible. But before I read it, how many of you have a sibling? That means a brother. A brother or sister in your family. I'm trying to teach other words too. So sometimes I'll say a word and then
She's an English teacher. A warning.
So the rest of you, quiet. Okay, so most of you raised your hand.
Yeah.
That's good. I have one sister who's 8 years younger than me, and even though you treasure your sibling, your sister or brother, sometimes things happen, right, that cause conflicts with them. Here in America, we have a holiday that is really interesting for children. One night of the year, you get to go around to any house in your neighborhood, the next neighborhood, the next neighborhood, and at every house, you get to knock on the door, just say 3 words, and they give you candy. Now, when I found this out, I was so amazed. It was wonderful. And as you get older and you're a teenager, and you can actually have a parent drive you somewhere and in a group, and you feel safe, and you go to all the rich houses, right? The big houses where they give really nice candy bars, big candy bars. So I did that in high school. It was great fun, and you dress up in a costume. Also, it's this month, at the end of this month, Halloween. You've probably heard of it sometime. You will hear about it. So you get all this candy, and I was in high school, and I took a pillowcase. Now that's the thing to go with, is a pillowcase, you know, because it's very big and sturdy. And I got all this candy, and I brought it home, and my sister, I was probably about 15, and my sister was 7, and I brought it home, and I went to school the next day, and she apparently didn't have school for some reason, but I did, so I was gone all day, and I came home, and all 12 of my chocolate bars were eaten, were gone. They were unwrapped and gone. There's just the wrappers there. I don't know where my mother was all day.
She was eating the chocolate.
Yeah, no, she just said my sister did it. But I couldn't do anything to my sister, of course. So that was really traumatic. It felt traumatic. It was like I had this wealth, and it was taken away from me when, without any warning, the very next day I didn't have it anymore. And that's a bit how this older brother might have felt. So he's out in the field when the younger brother comes home, and the father had rushed out and brought the younger brother in, and he's having a party. He killed a big cow to have lots of meat and to enjoy a party with the younger brother. And they're dancing and singing in the house. They're so happy that he's back. And so the older brother comes back from working hard in the field. I mean, he would have had workers that he was overseeing. So maybe he wasn't actually sweating himself, but he had been out all day overseeing the work in the fields. And he comes toward the house, and he hears this dancing and music and having a party, and he asks one of the servants to come and tell him what's going on in the house. He said, your younger brother came home, and your father killed the fattened calf, and we now are having a party to celebrate because he was lost, and now we found him. And the older brother, what did he do? He stayed outside of the house. He didn't want to go in. He was a little upset. And isn't that one of the reactions we can have when we get angry? We can either attack and yell and scream and hit, or we pull back and we don't want to interact. We want to stay away from someone, right? And so he decided he didn't want to go in the house. He was upset that his money, his household, because he had his part of the inheritance now, was being used to celebrate for the younger brother who had gone away and been so irresponsible and lost all the money. So he felt upset about that. How many of you think he was right to be upset about that? Do you think maybe there might be a good reason? It's his stuff, right, that they're using to celebrate. Well, let me tell you another story of our family. We have 5 kids who are now grown up. But when they were little, they were very close in age, and so there was lots of times that there was conflicts. And whenever there was a conflict between 2 of our kids, we would say to them, okay, you have to go in the bathroom together and work it out. And you can only come out after you've figured out what's wrong with you. After you become friends, that's what we ask them to do, to go in the bathroom, sit together till they are friends. And it was a habit. We did it all the time, and it actually really worked most of the time. You know, sometimes they'd be in there longer than other times, but often they'd come out and they were joking around and all happy, and they were friends again. And it's because they finally realized it was more important to be friends as brother and sister or brother and brother than to keep fighting, you know, over something pretty small. But this older brother, you know, he didn't want to become friends, right? He stayed out there, and he just wouldn't go in. So the father realized he's out there, and the father goes out to him. And you should realize that, you know, Jesus is telling this story so that these people who are upset about people who've lived not very good lives being able to sit and talk with Jesus, that he's taking time to be with them. They're deciding they want to hear what he says, even though they've lived bad lives. They're coming to him. But the people who've always been religious, they don't like that Jesus is spending time with these people. Why is he giving them a chance to understand about God when they've been so evil their whole lives? But Jesus is saying this because he knows that God actually cares about people even when they've done bad things. And that all he wants, just like this father, is that we would come to him. That we would say, I'm sorry I did those bad things. I want a different life. I want a new life from you. And so in the story, the father also goes out to the older brother, because the older brother is not doing what, you know, a family should do, right? A family, we need to be together. We need to be willing to forgive each other. We need to become friends, like my kids would do in the bathroom. So the father came out to him, and the older brother complained. He said, well, you know, I've been doing everything right all this time. I stayed home with you, and you never gave a party for me. I've obeyed every command you made, and you didn't do a party for me. And then the father just answered, well,